Okay, welcome back to Mr. Ant's World of Prince, where life is a parade. Welcome, the Nightchild.
Hello. I should have thought of something witty and parade inspired to say then, but you stole my thunder.
Oh,
No.
well, you know us in our research and practice, so we just
Research.
jump in. Read what's that? Yeah. So, as you know, it is, and we can't believe we were just talking about this off air. It is a parade 40th anniversary. I mean, wow. I mean, what were you saying about that a minute ago?
I mean, we both got into Prince the same year, didn't we? 1989, which is what, 37 years ago now, or 30. Oh God, yeah. Jeez.
Yes.
I mean, and it's
Yeah.
just terrifying because that only feels like yesterday. I get to remember it, and
I know,
yeah,
and I'm still only 25. I mean, it's just.
I mean, that's amazing, really. I mean, it won't be long before it's the 40th anniversary of Batman, so that's all I'm saying.
Wow, I'll have to dust off the bat suit for that one.
You go out every night in that, we know.
Yeah. You got to get your kick, So it's 40th anniversary. So we thought we would get on here and just celebrate and talk about everything parade. So we've got the album. There's Under the Cherry Moon movie. There's the parade tour. There's just so much stuff to get through. We'll see what we can do, how much we can fit in, because we'll be here all day once we get going. So it's incredible. So I think the best thing to do is start with, let's say, because this is going to be true, because I know it's not particularly your favorite album. So let's start on that controversial bombshell. So let's start with your thoughts on the album now in 2026, as it's its 40th anniversary. Improved more, like it more, or still?
I was going to say, it took me a long time. I mean, this is like I say, sort of quite open. It took me a long time to get into Parade. When I first got all the albums, I was given them, and I wasn't given the dates. That somebody gave me a copy of the albums, and I didn't know where to place Parade, and for a long time, I still loved Parade, but it wasn't my favourite for a long time. It's hard to explain. I kind of struggled. I think first of all, there was several things that made me feel that way. I think first of all, because Prince at the time said that he almost felt he rushed into it, that he didn't have enough good material ready, and then he said, "I won't make that mistake again," which he didn't. Obviously, with Silent Times, one of the most critically acclaimed albums ever. So I think partly it was that. Partly it was the fact that I believed, and I still kind of believe, the second half is better than the first half. That I love the first half, but I still think the second half is better. I think the first half is more cohesive because obviously he recorded those first four songs in one go. Basically, he sat down. I mean, who does that? Who has four songs in their head, sits down at the drums or whatever, just plays those four songs? I mean, that's half an album in someone's head. I'm going to sit down, bang, 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 do it. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just absolutely crazy. I think partly it was kind of influenced by that. I think also partly I was influenced by the fact that I think possibly still that there's a better album out there if you take into account all of the other things that were left off. But we were talking about Love or Money, Alexa to Parry, there's even others here with this. There's so many.
All My Dreams. Yeah.
All My Dream. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I think that's why most people are most excited about the Parade Super Deluxe, or the possibility of there being one, because there's so much around it, and I think that's probably one of the richest areas there is. So there's so many tracks he could have chosen from. I think for me, it's a tale of two halves, because if you look at it as an album, if you look at the first four songs, they are cohesive, they work together. But then I think the stronger songs are like, towards the end, we've got Kiss and Another Hole in Your Head. Sometimes It Snows in April. Now, what I will say about Prince, not what he said about the album, I think first of all, an artist isn't necessarily the best person to judge how their work's received. That goes out beyond them. So it's not just that, but also I think he changed his mind over time. And I look at how many songs became regular staples. You look at Kiss, obviously played a huge amount of time. He played Mountains, played Another Hole in Your Head. Sometimes It Snows in April became incredibly much bigger than we ever thought. I mean, when Prince passed, the two songs that I heard the most were Sometimes It Snows in April and Nothing Compares to You. And neither of those were like obvious Prince hits in the sense, Sometimes It Snows in April wasn't. Nothing Compares to You, obviously, through Sinead. And it's interesting how those two songs really became associated with Prince's passing. And I think that kind of it flavored my mind because for a while, but the more I appreciate now the color of it, like he said, like the kind of, you know, for making the kind of black and white of the film aesthetic, kind of, you know, making it more colorful. And I think the flourishes, the kind of the band, the Melvoins, the just, you know, it's incredible. For me, it's a sort of time of just dichotomy. Because for me, slightly off tangent, but the Parade tour is the brightest, almost happiest. You look at his yellow suit, you look at the colors, it's the most vibrant tour I've seen. And yet, ironically, from what we know, things were kind of falling apart. I mean, behind the scenes, the Revolution was about to disband, broke up with Susanna. I mean, it was falling apart. He had this big band reviewed, and everybody on that. And I tell you, the difference. I was watching it the other day. The Parade tour, you know, the famous is at Stockholm, or I think it's one where it's just basically
the birthday one.
The birthday one, yeah, the birthday
Detroit.
one. Detroit. Yes, Detroit. So I was listening to Tony Bootlegs, and it looks so colourful and so light. And then you fast forward to the next tour, and you've got this darkness. You've got Sign of the Times. You've got a completely different aesthetic. I mean, the change between Parade and Sign of the Times in terms of tours is probably as dramatic as it's ever done. And so, you know, I think Parade is. I think Parade's quite a mature album. What I mean is, but I don't think it's like the first one I would grab for if I was getting into Prince. But the more I've gone on, the more I've enjoyed it. But I do think there's possibility of a bigger, expanded album. Now, just because the album's bigger doesn't mean it's better, obviously.
Yeah.
But I still think there's some songs in there, and you think, you know, Alexa de Paris, like I say, Love or Money. I think, you know, there's so many possibilities. But I would say it's growing on me because, you know, I don't know about you, but I'll be quiet in a second. But I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, but some albums like grab you straight away. Some albums take a long time, and sometimes your appreciation grows of certain albums. And some albums you haven't listened to for ages, and you go back and think, "Oh God, you know what? Actually, that's really growing on me." And I would say over the last 5 years, Parade has grown on me more than any other album. So it's interesting. It's quite changed to how I feel about it. And I think now it's actually. I was listening to New Position a lot, and it's just incredible. So there's my kind of unloading of Prince.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, I would say Parade to me feels like more like a piece of art. It's like it is very artistic. It's you know, you've got that French flavor running through the whole thing. You know, the black and white aesthetic of the whole thing. You know, and again, I suppose a bit like Around the World in the Day. It's just like. Every album's totally different and nothing like you've heard before. You go, well, what is this? You know, some of the tracks in there, you know, oh God, why does it escape me now? I'm going to think of the name.
Lie or
no, go back.
Under Cherry Moon.
No, that's unusual. No, it's Life Can Be So Nice. Sorry,
Life Can Be So Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, everything's going on in that.
It's just absolutely manic, you know, and the way it ends as well. It's just crazy. It's just. You know what? Just dumb, you know, and you're like, what the hell is this? You know, it's when you first hear it, it's you know, Christopher Tracy's Parade. You know, Do You Lie? Yeah, it's just so unusual. Obviously, from the get go, you know, you knew sometimes it's Snow's Naples since you heard it. You know, haunting, incredible. Kiss, obviously, you know, we know all about that. Girls and Boys, though, grabbed me right from the start when I first heard the album. I just loved that saxophone. I thought that was brilliant. And like you were saying earlier, that's something else that he played live quite a few times.
Yeah.
I remember on the Act 2 tour, I think he played it on that one in Europe. He was playing that.
I mean, I've heard people say that they kind of, some people consider Mountains to be
better than
Kiss. I mean, Mountains in terms of a groove.
Yes.
It's actually incredible.
Mountain is incredible, and I love the 12-inch version. It's just, hey, you get up on this dance floor, and you hear all that, but you hear all that extended bit in the movie Under the Cherry Moon, don't you? You know,
that was a frustrating thing watching the movie, and then sort of you hear the music that wasn't on the album, and you're
yes. Well, I absolutely loved Alexa de Paris. That piece of music is brilliant when they're dancing. You know, he's dancing with Christian Scott Thomas, and you hear this music. You think, God, what is that? You know. You finally get hold of that. It's amazing. Yeah, so much stuff could have been added onto it. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think when I got Parade, because I started like you with Batman. And then I think it was Purple Rain, 1999. and I went right back. Dirty Mind, the first 2 albums. So I think Parade, I probably got quite late. I was probably a couple of years, maybe a year after I've been listening before I got to Parade. I think.
So like what, early 90s sort of?
Yeah, it would have been the early 90s, maybe 1990, maybe. Yeah, I had Graffiti Bridge I borrowed in 1990 off of someone, so I had that and Love Sexy at the time. But you know, you're a teenager, you don't have a lot of money. The internet wasn't around.
No,
it's difficult to get these things unless you knew someone. So so yeah, when I did get money, I used to go to the shop and buy the cassettes, you know, and work my way through. Because even then, there was a big back catalogue in 1990, you know. So I was working my way through. Yeah. So when I got to Parade, I was like, oh my God, you know, what the hell is this? You know.
Thing is, you think of 2 years to go from Purple Rain to Parade. I mean, it's
incredible.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
You've got Purple Rain, which is just like total rock star. Complete rock star thing, you know. And then you've got this, which is just, what is this? It's like every time I hear the album, like you say with the tour, I just think it's almost as if that whole thing, he's almost is Christopher Tracy. That's what I think of. I think of him with the shades on, you know, happy-go-lucky out there in the south of France, you know, open top car, cruising about. You know, I just get that whole feeling for the whole thing. He seemed to carry that persona off really well throughout that whole period, didn't he? You know, even that famous MTV interview, you know, he's
yeah.
Let's be frank. Can we be frank?
I love this.
We can't be in it. You know, he's just playing Christopher Tracy the whole time.
These things cost money. These things cost money.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just brilliant.
I mean, if you think about it, that tour was interesting to me as well, because he went from this Purple Rain guitar hero, and the Parade tour, I don't think of him as being with a guitar. You know, so much of it was not.
Yeah,
you know,
so much dancing and that version of Ahead, I think it is.
Just incredible. I mean, I just, it's just interesting. Like I say, almost perhaps those songs you have to be the Christopher Tracy character, because I suppose if you sing songs like Life Can Be So Nice and stuff like that, you have to kind of embrace that in Christopher Tracy's Parade. You have to do it with a bit of, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, obviously the pastel colors of the time and the kind of like, there's something about that tour that is just ironically looking the happiest he's ever been. And
I know,
we know that probably wasn't the case, but you know,
it's so weird. It's weird. It's like he manifested that darkness later on, as I say, that in one of the times. It's bizarre. And
I mean, it's such a productive period, though, wasn't it? I mean, you take that. I mean, it's always productive, but that kind of 85, 86, 87, it's just
phenomenal.
Crazy amounts going on.
Absolutely phenomenal. And so when you look at the whole thing, as we said, you know, a whole package would be incredible. You know, so, I mean, you've got the album, then you've got an alternate version. You know, there's tracks that are on it. Others Here With Us, All My Dreams, and Old Friends for Sale.
Old Friends for Sale. I mean,
come on, you know. And then you've got Love for Money, Alexa de Paris, and then you've got
An Honest Man. Do you remember An Honest Man?
Yes, exactly. An Honest Man. You know, and then you've got the 12-inch versions, and then you've got the all of that stuff. You could have all of that, and then you can have a tour, the Detroit one, the show maybe, you know, packaged with that as well. You know, the whole thing, and the movie Under the Cherry Moon, you know, on a Blu-ray. So you know, you could have the whole lot. It would be incredible.
You could argue that. I mean, I remember when I first saw Love Sexy live, you know, when he plays Venus de Milo, and you know, just one of the most beautiful instrumentals he's probably ever done.
That's still one of the tracks that will make me cry after he passed. Every time. It's
beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Oh God,
I don't know how he does that, but like you say, he taps into the emotion like just instant. I don't know how he does that.
Yeah, you know, as soon as you those first, just that ding, you know, it's like, oh my God,
just incredible. I mean, in a sense, like you say, I don't know. I do feel it's. I don't mean it's in a bad way, but like I say, I just think it's almost two halves. I think the Christopher Tracy Parade, New Position, I Wonder You, Under the Cherry Moon, and then you've got the kind of girls and boys, upbeat. Life Can Be So Nice. You've got Venus de Milo, beautiful. Mountains, Do You Lie, Kiss, Another Lover. Sometimes It Snows in April. It's a very. I don't know. It just feels very. I think Christopher Tracy's Parade is interesting as an opener as well, because it just feels to me quite different.
Definitely.
I mean, you take the first 4 songs, and you know, you got 2 minutes 9, 2 minutes 21, 1 minute 40, 2 minutes 57. They're very short. You blissed through them almost, you know, incredibly. So it's I don't know. It's a very interesting I don't think there's an album like it, really. Not.
It's very unique in the Prince catalog. It's saying
yeah,
something. It is saying something.
yeah. And like you said, I suppose you were saying before that it's kind of, it's got that thing about Purple Rain in the sense of, you know, you got the tour, you got the movie, you got the album, and it was also quite a risk, I suppose, for, you know, Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers, I imagine, probably wanted a Purple Rain 2, which they got, I suppose, with Graffiti Bridge. So there you go. But you know, it's a, you know, Prince saying, "Oh yeah, I want to do this," you know, black and white French film, please. Set. It's kind of weird because on one hand, it's sort of homage to the 30s and 40s and stuff like that, but it's also set in the modern day with Porsches and, you know, modern. It's like it's just sort of timeless. I don't know really.
Yeah. But they just look like they're having so much fun doing that. They really do.
I mean, him and Jerome, it just. I actually, ironically, somebody said, and I think they're right, which just sounds weird. I got a caveat this really. Somebody said it's his Prince's best film. Now, what I mean by that is, if you think about it in terms of the range, and I just mean in terms of like the humor, as a kind of cohesive piece,
yes,
you could argue that it is in a sense, because it's very much it's got more. I mean, especially if you look at it, compared to Purple Rain, compared to Graffiti Bridge, it's one which has got the most, what would you call, the most sort of gifted actors in it, I suppose. You know,
yes,
I mean, you've got Steve Burkhardt, Christian Scott Thomas, you know, do incredibly well, and Francesca Annie, and you've got actually, you take it like that, I suppose, you know, it is his best film in a sense of like it's not just, you know, it's funny, it's comedic, you know.
It's funny because he's like, obviously, because if it was a big movie, like as in like a Hollywood blockbuster or something, let's take James Bond. Let's take James and let's take On Her Majesty's Secret Service. For years and years, everyone hated that film. They hated it. They hated George Lazenby. They hated that movie. Then as time gone on, it's grown on everyone. Now it's seen as a classic. Everybody loves it. Brilliant.
I saw James Bond website where they sort of said it was their favourite.
So it's amazing how that's grown. Now, I kind of feel that way about Under the Cherry Moon. If it was a wider thing, I'm sure that would have happened. It's happened probably with people in the community, because I think it is brilliant. I never found a problem with it. It is funny. It's emotional. It'll make you cry at the end. There's drama in it. You know, it's beautifully shot. You know, the style of it is fantastic, and being brave to make. Who makes a black and white film in 1985? I mean, you've got Beverly Hills Cop coming out. You've got Gremlins, Ghostbusters, whatever, 85. You know, A View to a Kill. You've got all these things coming out, and you're there with this 1985 film toddling around the south of France. I mean, that is some brave.
I mean, perhaps that's what makes it more timeless, because it's set outside of that thing. It doesn't date as much, and it's interesting actually, because you think about that film's really about love or money. Graffiti Bridge is about, you know, Morris's capitalism and Prince's spirituality. It's like a lot of these themes sort of actually go through, but I mean,
you know, there's a message in it to be had at the end, you know, and you've got
to give him credit. Christian Scott Thomas, unknown at the time, this is her introduction. She went on to be a huge star, and she's, you know, very celebrated, and he, you know, and
as you say, Stephen Burkhardt, one of the great villains in movie, and such a flamboyant actor. He's an incredible person. Funny enough, I was talking about James Bond. I was watching one of the special edition things last night. Like it was, I think it was Octopussy.
And
they were talking about like how flamboyant it was, and when he came for his audition or screen test, he was dressed in a samurai outfit or something. You know, just his everyday wear. That's what he does.
That's what you need, playing like a Russian general.
It's just amazing, you know. So that's the kind of caliber we're talking about.
I think it's
it's a great movie. It's a great movie. I loved it. Always have loved it, and I've never understood why it got the bashing that it got. But you know,
I think it's almost like, say, perhaps it's one of those things where if you do something different to what people expect you're going to do. Prince had that problem all the time, didn't it? Because, you know, after Purple Rain, he did Around the World in a Day, and people were like, "This is different. What's this?" But then that's the key, isn't it? That's the key, because you see some acts, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but you see some acts now who are like 30, 40 years on, and they're wearing the same clothes, they're doing the same thing, and that's fine. Do that, but Prince just constantly evolved, constantly changed. Everything was a new look, a new design, a new. I mean, you look at the the Purple Rain tour, you look at the Parade tour, you look at the Sun and Times tour, the Love Sexy tour.
It's so highly stylized.
It's crazy, and the look changed, the ideas changed, and sometimes you see that little you know, the end of Sign of the Times tour, where he just started to wear the polka dots and it's just sort of changing over. But I think it's just when you do something that people don't expect, and I think that's interesting.
They don't like it; they reject it.
It's not.
The Prince was pushing it all the time, you know.
Yeah, and you look at it, like you say, you look at those. I mean, you look at the songs that have stood the test of time. Sometimes it's Those in April and Kiss and Another Love and Holly. I mean, so many of them actually became really staples of Prince's shows. I mean, Kiss is. I mean, certainly, if you ask the sort of the person who doesn't necessarily know huge amounts of Prince, Kiss would be probably the top 5 songs I think they probably would name. You know?
Yes, definitely.
So it's incredible, really.
Exactly, it is. So it's amazing, and you don't see Under the Cherry Moon ever as well shown, which would be really interesting. I'd love to see it shown just to see what reaction it would get.
This is what frustrates me. I know I've said this 1,000 times before. Why isn't this stuff like on Netflix? I mean, A, concerts, but B, not even just his basic.
I mean, Purple Rain gets shown on BBC Two every now and then now. Normally like at midnight on a Saturday evening or something. I've seen it 2 or 3 times it's come up. But why not show Under the Cherry Moon, man? I mean, just let some people see it. It's just, you know, I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to see, Prince climbing up a ladder, jumping into the wrong bedroom, you know, and then Dro going, "You did it to Mary's mum," throwing stones at his bum, you know. I ain't into all that.
I think it's just, I just think it's such a kind of. It's like say it's a unique project. It's just it's something very much about and these songs also. You think about how you think the strange thing about Prince's career is how many of his songs that hit #1 were tied to albums like Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry, Kiss. That Dance Club. It's like amazing how many. I think Cream was the only one that wasn't. It was like they're all tied, apart from a movie. Most people in the world in the UK, but it's like they're tied to a movie. So it's kind of interesting how when you get that bit of exposure, perhaps that in it, that if you decide to have the premiere in Wyoming, and
that's a whole other thing, isn't it? You know. That's incredible.
I love that clip they have of him when he sort of turns up at the airport and they say, what do you think about this? And he just runs into the crowd and throws his jacket.
He goes purple or something, then he just runs off. It's so good. So good. You know, and again, we're just going to explain as well, the reason why we talk about the movie so much is because it is such a big part of the album. They're intertwined. It is the soundtrack to the movie. You know, it's Parade motion picture from, soundtrack. So you can't help, one or the other, as you say, especially when you think of some of the songs, you think of Girls and Boys, you think of that scene in Under the Cherry Moon. I mean, did they reverse it with the jacket? So it looks like and he goes back on. It's really, he takes it off. Back on again. I love that. I think they reversed the film to do that. That's clever editing, but it's so cool. It was so cool, Tricky My Boy, Our World, amazing. So you hear the songs, you think of those scenes, if you've seen the movie, it's intertwined with it. For me it is. I can't separate one from the other. It's like one whole world. It really is. It really, really is. I love that. I love that character of Christopher Tracy. I love Prince in that era. I really do. It just makes me happy.
And I think also it was kind of good to because Prince is, as we know, amazing sense of humour. Just really funny. But I think obviously there was a touch of that in Purple Rain. But there was a lot of other stuff going on, so it kind of got lost. I mean, when you look at when he looks at his little puppet and he's sort of but Under the Cherry Moon really gave a chance to explore his humour and just to have that kind of fun in a way that Purple Rain there was so much serious stuff going on.
Under the Cherry Moon is in spades, isn't it? His sense of humour. It's just him and Jerome. It's just It's right from the get-go. It's brilliant. The opening scene, with him writing constant notes to him while he's playing the piano, Give the eyes.
and also it's kind of, again, with Prince, it's very much like that play of, what's the word? It's kind of, it plays on that, I'm trying to think how to phrase this, kind of ambiguity of he often switched gender roles, and by playing the gigolo, by playing the gigolo who was like basically trying to go out with someone for money and then falls in love, and he kind of that very much goes against the mainstream of what they were doing. In most mainstream films, it would be the other way around, and I think it just kind of he was the object, he was the sex object, if you like, who was being used by women almost. And it was interesting how he's kind of he twists those kind of, and he sort of changes that dynamic, and it's because I mean he's walking around with his crop tops. He's kind of like women are sort of he's saying whatever they want to hear for money, and it's just interesting how lots of films would do that the other way around. But Prince kind of he was just different to everybody else, and I think it's just that I think that's just it's just an interesting. I love the and then like him and Jerome. It just wouldn't. I mean, it just had to be. Jerome is the perfect foil. Yeah, I think. I love Morris, but I think that would be two characters too similar.
Too similar. Exactly,
I think you need a Jerome, and I think that really works. And I think they just had such a good. And you said when you saw him on stage, that you could tell they just
great.
I mean, Jerome looks like one of those guys you can't not get on with. He just looks. He's always so happy and upbeat, and even when you watch him in the early Time videos, and the camera's going over, and he's sort of putting faces and doing this and doing that, and he just looks like fun to be around. So I kind of I totally get why and plus, like we said, he's the only one that really basically was in he's in Purple Rain, he's in Under the Cherry Moon, he's in Graffiti Bridge, he's there. Exactly. He's always there.
Absolutely, on stage as well. He
always brings the humour, whether it's in Purple Rain, the sunglasses and stuff with Morris, whether it's in Under the Cherry Moon or Graffiti Bridge when he has the money duel with Morris Day.
It's just the banjo music, ding 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 ding.
I mean, Jerome's the man, isn't he?
He's fantastic. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah.
We've also got to say, I suppose, you can't really talk about Parade without talking about Claire Fisher, and he's in for just incredible.
I mean, this is his first appearance, isn't it? On Prince.
I think
is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing I always found it confusing because from what. Sometimes he worked with Prince, it was like, I want you to put something onto this. But other times it was like Prince would get samples of me and add them. And then sometimes he'd back and forth. And because, it's just a weird relationship because he didn't meet him.
He never wanted to meet him. Yeah, he didn't want to ruin it. He said,
didn't want to see his picture, did he? He just, I don't want to know.
Yeah. Just leave things as it is. Yeah.
All these years, he probably thought Claire was a woman. He didn't know. He had no idea.
Oh, dear.
I think that's amazing. But thing is, it worked. It worked.
It did. It really did.
And so many of those songs, when you hear them with the strings, just incredible.
Absolutely. It just brings the whole thing to life.
You needed that for that whole project, don't you? You needed that kind of depth. Yeah.
You definitely do. Yeah. To that, as I say, to that kind of artistic feel that he was going for, you need it, definitely, Definitely. And then you got the versions. I'm just saying, then you got the versions as they were originally. So instead of Christopher Tracy's Parade, it was Wendy's Parade,
Yes.
Which is interesting as well. So,
Yeah. I wonder how she felt about that.
I know. Yeah.
But then you get that nod, don't you, in Kiss?
Yes, that's right. Parade. Little Girl Wendy's Parade, exactly. Which he obviously left that in there. Yeah, because interesting.
No,
so
I think
it makes you. The movie came along. Yeah.
I wonder if I look at Old Friends for Sale, and I think is it just a case of does he think it wouldn't fit with the movie? It wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I suppose there's not an obvious place to put it in the movie in terms of like as a story bit. But.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the movie as it is, I mean, obviously we don't know what was left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
There's not a great deal to be seen out there of stuff like that. The one that wouldn't fit at all is Others Here With Us. I can't really see where that would go.
No,
it's quite a spooky song. It's obviously about spirits and stuff like that. And there's not really anywhere in that movie, obviously Prince dies at the end, but no one else really, I can't really see where that would work in that film.
I mean, I think with Old Friends of Sale, you could put that in, the bit when he falls out with Tricky, you could almost do that like that, couldn't you? Just put it in there, when he's like, I'm my own man, like Liberace.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just like,
Exactly. That's right, it's brilliant. But, because...
Yeah,
it's about being, people selling you out and all that kind of stuff. So that would have been perfect. That would work.
It's what you said, Chris. For $50 million,
exactly. Seriously, consider it. Yeah, I want my cut. Yeah.
I mean, that could work.
It could work. It could work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about All My Dreams. That could work, maybe. I suppose it could, maybe. Yeah, trying to think.
It's interesting because I suppose even on Purple Rain, on Graffiti Bridge, and Under the Cherry Moon, all three of them are, on one hand, the soundtracks, but on the other hand, they don't have all the songs that are in the movie.
Yes.
You don't have it with Purple Rain. You don't have it with Graffiti Bridge. You have like Rock and Power, and you have something like you don't have it with Under the Cherry Moon. So I suppose it's sort of from there's always extra. Even when he does like Under the Cherry Moon, is their junk music. They play that, and then there's just lots of other bits. And I think I don't know. I think there's a lot of
because I mean on that alternate version, they've even got Velvet Kitty Cat on there from Purple Rain era as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. So you got Wendy's Parade, New Position, I Wonder You, Under the Cherry Moon, Others Here With Us, Life Can Be So Nice, Velvet Kitty Cat, Sometimes It Snows in April, Kiss, Old Friends of Sale, and All My Dreams. That was a May 1985 configuration. That's according to Principle.com. Guys, amazing. Where would we be without Principle?
God, I see. I like say I don't know if that's. But then we were saying earlier, it's one of those things where just because it's any longer doesn't mean it's necessarily better or worse. But we said that the extended versions. I mean, the extended version of Kiss. 10 toes going up, 10 toes going down. Then we cut that hair. It's kind of. I love the extended the horns and the extended versions of Mountains, and they're all just
they're brilliant.
I would always have to take an extended version over. I understand there's like certain singles and stuff like that, but I just love the extended version. I just love the way he just when I grew up, a lot of the extended versions were just like, we'll just carry on for another 5 minutes doing the same thing. But Prince that goes off in completely different directions. And it would take something like we said, like I Wish You Heaven, little short song, and then it turns it into like a Take This Beat extended jam session.
And then you've got the extended long jams, which are incredibly like the musicianship on something like America. Just unbelievable. Blow your
That's the thing about America, about Mountains. You could ride those grooves. They said, the revolution for days, couldn't you? Absolute days. No question about it.
And I see Mountains, and I think at the end of Under the Cherry Moon, coming down, sitting on the mat there. You've got tambourines and
all that kind of technology in terms of like you did with Raspberry Beret and the kind of colours
dodgy blue screen technology,
and like I say the mountains and it's all kind of interesting times. But it was like but God, I think I mean the tour for me was incredible. I think it's what. Obviously, I got into Prince after that, but I think if there's one tour I could have seen that I didn't see, that might well be up there. I think it's very different. Very different.
Because obviously, you'd only been to the UK once before in Dirty Mind. I think you only played one show at the Lyceum, I think, wasn't it?
Well, ask Bill Oddie.
Ask Bill Oddie, he was there. So after that, he didn't come back until that tour, 86. But it's similar. But I mean, I know Purple Rain. So we said earlier, you got the movie, you got the tour, and he toured America only. But and I know with the Parade tour, the actual tour, it was Europe and Japan, wasn't it? No, not America. But he did do some hit and run shows with it in America, kind of as a warm up, didn't he? Like announcing very short.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because how you think of how much it changed, because it was like I say, it's very much. I think he loved Europe, and I think, but like I say, we had, I know America says, well, he didn't tour this thing in America and didn't tour this, but we didn't get some of the earlier tours, but he really came to love it, and I think that kind of music also was just, I suppose, whether it's the French feel and various other things, it was very much appreciated. But I think that tour was just, I don't think there's anything like it, and like I say, he was very much not. The blazing guitar hero. It wasn't that kind of show. It was a review, and everybody was like dancing and singing, and I mean,
absolutely.
And I love the fact that Prince made people do things they said they couldn't normally. Like you're a bodyguard, no, you're a dancer now.
You're a dancer. Yeah. I know, it's just crazy, and that's quite stripped back as well, isn't it? There's not. You've had the huge Purple Rain pyrotechnics and everything going on with bathtubs and multi-level stages and and whatnot going on, and then the parade is literally like a draft board in it, dance floor, black and white. Balloons like black and purple, or I don't know, balloons, and everything's got the white and black, isn't it? Look like the speakers and everything. And that's pretty much it, isn't it? And then the lighting, but there's no stage stuff going on. I don't think, like hydraulics and
No.
things like that.
And like Prince is very much the focus on the front on his own. Like say, yes, you got the dancers, but generally speaking, everybody sort of stays in their place, if you like.
Yes.
Whereas Prince just has free reign to kind of, if you compare that to some of the times, or particularly Love Sexy, but it's a very different show because it was just so different. And I also think it's like say it's probably, you could argue that it's around that time it's the biggest change, certainly arguably. I mean, obviously his success was a huge change, but I think in terms of Prince, obviously end the revolution, where does he go from here, what does he do? He takes over some songs that they worked on, becomes Sign of the Times, incredible fit. Where does he go from here? And I think in a sense that's such a period of change for him personally, professionally, and also just I also think just it's a really crucial time when you become really famous, like with Purple Rain. After that, what do you do? Because I think I saw an interview, it's bizarre. I saw an interview with Apollonia back in the day, some American talk show. I don't know who she was, but
I'm sure you were paying attention to what she said. Yeah.
No, she said to she said to the woman interviewer, and they said, so is this Prince, is he like the real thing, or is he just, quote, a flash in the pan, right? And I was like, whoa. And Apollonia just turns to the camera and says, I don't think the Academy would have given an award to a flash in the pan, do you? And she was like, kind of really smacked it down. But it was interesting because I think the thing is, Prince knew at that point he was going to be loved like forever, because I think you have that big success, but then he's doing something different and people are going with him. And Prince always said that. He said he credited his fans with being able to change and go through different things, because you think about it, as Prince fans, you all have our favourites and whatever, but you've got a group who have always followed him from Purple Rain, then Around the World a Day, completely different, Parade, completely different, Sign of the Times, completely different. And that's the thing about Prince. You kind of he challenged you, and like I said, it was that classic. He said, "I'm not going to give you, what you want, but what you need." And I think that's the thing. He challenged you. And every time I hear a new Prince album, the first reaction I always have is, "That wasn't what I expected. That wasn't what I expected." And it's just, I imagine the first time you put on Parade, you were like,
yes,
the hell?
Exactly. You just say he's challenging you. He's got
French speaking. What's going on?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
But even then, he did that with I've had a brain thing that his clothes designer is it Marie France? I forget her name now. My brain is and she did like a voiceover, and I just love the idea that he just gets people to do different things. It's like, you can do that, you can do that. He doesn't care about your kind of what's the word? Your job role.
Yes.
In a sense, because it's Marie France. It's Marie France. I got it right. He doesn't care about your job role. Like, your bodyguard, right? But you're also going to be a producer. But you're also going to be an engineer. But you're also going to be a dancer. You're going to be like, I think the Times said before that he would say, right, you're going to play this thing, and they said, okay. He said, whilst doing this dance move and also moving over to here. They go, well, we can't do that. And they go, no. And within a couple of days, he said it was just clockwork. Just
yeah.
I mean, we listened to some of the, you see some of the rehearsals, and sometimes, you don't want to get it wrong.
No, definitely. What do you say, boy?
There was one. I think he had. I think it was Cassandra on keyboards, and he said, "What happened?" She goes, "Oh, my keyboard, it went a bit wrong." And it's like, and it's called the Virus. The keyboard is called the Virus. You go, you bought a keyboard called the Virus, and that went right. And he's like, quite, I mean, he's a demanding boss, but that's how he got that perfection. He knew how he wanted the sound. And if you were the sound engineer or Dante or whoever, and you didn't get it right, you soon know about it, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Love it.
It's it's an incredibly prolific time for him. I'm just
absolutely.
I mean, this is just like say one of the projects he had going on, and so
I mean, within 84 in 2 years, in 2 years. So it was probably a 4 year period, I suppose. A four year period, because you've got to take into account the production and making it. He's done 2 movies and 2 albums and 2 massive tours in like a 4 year period, which is insane.
I think it's the thing. I also think it's just the thing about Prince. Just always, he didn't. It wasn't necessarily about. This is one of the things I love most about Prince, is that it wasn't just about the commercial thing. Like you say, he had a 3-album deal initially with Warner Brothers. The 3rd album, he says, "Here's Dirty Mind. You can't play on the radio. It sounds like demos. There you go." And they're like, "Well, what's going on? Where's all the hits? But he was right. And then he said, around the world in a day, I'm not going to do Let's Go Crazy, Carry On. I'm going to do this. And then he said, here's a film. It's black and white. It's French. And it's like he just so many times he thought, I want to do what I want to do artistically. Enough people will support it. Enough people will like it. But I'm not saying he sometimes he didn't focus on the commerciality, like musicology or Diamonds and Pearls, where he said, right, I'm going to do loads of videos, I'm going to do this. But lots of the time he just said, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. If I want to do a Slaughterhouse, if I want to do a Chocolate Invasion, if I want to do internet only albums, or if I want to do The Truth acoustic, or I'll do it. And I think that's brilliant, because it's like people have said, we could have made more money. I was thinking, for what? He had enough money. Exactly. He had enough money to keep Paisley Park going. He was a multi-millionaire. I don't know how much more money. I mean, he didn't. I'm not saying I'm sure he had nice cars and whatever, and nice places, but he didn't need really more money. He just enjoyed what he was doing, and I think he had more than enough money to ensure that. And if he ever did, he didn't, but if he ever did, you do 21 nights in London, you do a musicology tour, and suddenly 20, 30, 40, 50 million. It's like boom, wow. You just, he had freedom.
He was a true artist, in the truest sense of the word, true artist. He challenged himself and his listeners, and and constantly evolved. He didn't stagnate. He didn't, like you say, like whoever is AC/DC, whoever's still dressed in school uniform, wherever they are, on stage, 8-year-old. He changed completely all the time, and that's one of the things that's attractive about it, and about. And what's so interesting, because
I can't imagine Prince going to a record, his record label or record company saying, "What do you think I should do?" He's never going to go, "I don't care. I'm going to." I'm
could you imagine that? But could you imagine Prince? Before he passed, ever, or at that age, still going on stage dressed in the Purple Rain outfit. It's still doing the same thing. I mean, come on, it just ain't happening.
He wouldn't do it in terms of even with like. The Symbol album, so-called Symbol, they said, we want to release 7. He said, we're releasing My Name Is Prince. It's like, it's like, I did release 7 afterwards, but it's like, we've got to number 7 already. But it's like, I think, I love the fact that he just, My Name Is Prince. He obviously thought in the back of mind, this is the last time I can use this for a little while, because name change maybe. But he, even with the singles, like you say, I'm going to release Ti Amo Corazon. I'm going to release, If I Was Your Girlfriend, I'm gonna.
I know. He just, do it my way or the highway.
Yeah, it's just that kind of you couldn't tell him what to do. And do you know what? If I was him, we're damn straight, because I was thinking, well, hold on, it's my mind that's got me kind of to where I am from coming from nowhere. In terms of, I wasn't, I wasn't in some famous family. I wasn't rich or anything. I didn't have a step up. I'm going to do it my way. It's my intuition, my judgment that's got there. And it's so easy to sort of take the financial route. And do you know what? Short term, totally. You take the financial route, you get loads of money, you try and wring every penny you can out of your fans. And then in a few years' time, people go, they've gone stale. They're not really trying anymore. They're just doing a tribute act to themselves and whatever. But Prince was just like, I'm happy to make music. And it just so happens that that gives me more than enough money to carry on doing what I'm doing. And, I mean, he proved that with Paisley Park, didn't he? Because, like you say, he didn't go out and buy a Hollywood mansion. He didn't go out and buy, he said, right, I'm going to put this money into my long-term musical future. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, which is, who does that? Amazing. Yeah, absolutely incredible. As you say, you're looking at singles as well from Parade. So he had 4 singles from that, didn't he? So Kiss was a number 1, did we say? Even?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And then you got Mountains, Girls and Boys, and Another Lover, Hole in Your Head. What a track that is,
Somebody said about that. I remember when it came out, a review. They said they loved it. The only thing they didn't like was the title, because they said it was like really hard to kind of like, because anybody else would have called that Another Lover or something else. Prince goes, I'm going to call it Another Lover, Hole in Your Head in one word.
Yeah, amazing. And the guitar version he was playing of that, like in the later years.
I love that when he reinvented it.
21 Nights in London, he was reinventing that. Was incredible, absolutely amazing. It's like, wow. It's just
and I think some of this is quite timeless. I think like Under the Cherry Moon, because it's that kind of ancient, but old-timey waltzy kind of feel that really just remained timeless, a lot beyond the time. But
So apart from this, what did the other singles do? Were any of them other top 10s? I can't remember if they were. I think maybe Girls and Boys didn't do too bad.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. So, as usual, she's just our research on the fly.
I would hope so. I would. Let's have a, God, I tell you what, internet. But yeah, I think I reckon the best one has got to be what Mountains. Mountains was 23 on the US Billboard and 15 on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and what was the? And you said
that's not bad. Oh, Girls and Boys got to number 8 in the UK.
See, we loved it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
See,
number 4 in the Netherlands, 4 in Ireland, 7 in Germany. Wow,
that's not bad. Amazing. I mean, the Netherlands have always been very big Prince fans, haven't they? So I think, UK and Holland will be like some of the most switched on, fans are Dutch fans, and just incredible. I don't know what it is about. It's one of those weird things in life that Dutch people really into Prince, really into darts. Yeah. It's just one of those things that's just how it is. I don't know why.
It is. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Oh dear. Well, I think the album itself was platinum. Was it one time platinum? I'm not sure. This is the difficult thing now. Trying to get official figures.
This frustrates me because
it's very difficult.
When's the last time Purple Rain was done?
Yeah, and it's so many conflicting. You'll go on one thing and it tells you this amount, then it's different somewhere else. It's so difficult. So to get an actual count or not.
I mean, I've heard the 150 million albums he sold, but I've heard that for the last 10, 15 years. So
yeah. I know in the late 90s it was like 50 million. I remember that.
But it hasn't been updated because I think I might be wrong. But I don't you have to you have to pay, like the estate had to pay to basically get it recertified, and I mean even now it's probably different because how do you count streaming? I don't know how. It's all just a different world. You had to go and buy the album in the old days, didn't you? Or get your mate to tape it at least. But he had to buy it, or someone had to buy it. Someone somewhere bought it.
So it's difficult to tell, but I know it was in the top 10, or the album was in. I think it got to number 3 in the UK. I think. So it was relatively successful. So
I also think that must have. I have no reason to think this, but I always thought when he was on stage, I don't know why I thought this is pretty weird, but I always thought, is there a part of him that thinks, do you know what? Even if the movie isn't successful, I'm loved by enough people. They love what I do. They love the and the fact that I can take risks and they'll still support me. And even if this film gets golden, what do they call it, raspberries or whatever?
Yeah, the raspberry award.
If it gets all that,
which it did.
Yeah, and even if it gets all that people still love me, they still support me, and they will always. And I think that kind of gives you confidence to go, do you know what? As an artist, I can just do the things I want to do. I'm not going to have to chase success. I have that. There are very few people that become legends, and particularly when you consider he was still, in Purple Rain, what was he, like mid-20s? It's not like, it's not like that. I mean, he's not. That's still a very young age to become something that man. Is going to be remembered. Well, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years time. So it's we know this. We're talking about Parade 40 years on, don't we? So
it's incredible. And you think in Parade he's 26, maybe 26 years old, maybe something like that. He's still a very young man.
I still don't understand it. I mean, I know from the first album, I don't understand how someone that age had that maturity to do all those things. But not only that, the mental ability to not only write the songs, perform the songs, but to have the drive to say, no, I want to produce myself. To take those decisions and to do all those things. I always find it amazing how there was one bit when he said about having a manager, and he said he always felt that he was himself, a very strong man. And for me, it's part of the way that Prince managed himself. Now, some people say, oh, he didn't spend all his time making more money. He didn't spend all his time, looking after the vault every second. He was creating and working that. And maybe he should have had other people. Maybe they could have done that, but he was always forward looking. It's always the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. He was like, someone will take care of this later, but the next thing, put it in the vault, next thing. It's. I think he had to, like you said, it was a curse and a blessing that.
Absolutely, and you think as well, add all that on top, and Under the Cherry Moon, he's directing it himself as well, and he writes, he's. This ain't got enough to do. It's just. What
they said before, it's like some of the days he would have during the mid-80s, he would be like, they said he'd get up. He'd, rehearse, I don't know, the time, or rehearse Apollonia 6 or whatever, then rehearse his own band, then do a concert, maybe a stage show, then somewhere in between all that, write all the songs.
All the songs,
I don't understand how he did it.
all of that. Yeah,
He
incredible.
had 50 hours every day. He must have done. I don't understand how it was possible.
Crazy. That's why he never slept. He never used to sleep, did he? He was just working.
It's just
You know?
the rehearsal, and also, like you say, when we saw that that documentary about Paisley Park, not only have you got to do all those things, but you've also got to deal with a kind of mundane thing. They had that list that the receptionist had in Paisley Park. It said, get call Sheila E, do this, check the drains. It's like all these things he's got to have in his mind, like check the drains, check the fence out, get the car sorted. It's like all these things because yes, you've got people who do stuff for you, but you've got to tell them what to do. So
yeah. Was it 7 flowers to someone, wasn't it? As well, I think there was.
I don't know how he did it. I can't see how
easy.
You can juggle that many things, and also bearing in mind, Paisley for a lot of time. I suppose you're sort of, if you're touring, you're away.
Yeah. I suppose in the early days of Paisley, he did have staff then. People running.
That sort of dwindled, didn't it? Over time,
I mean, well, as we know, he was there on his own at the end, just himself, which is shocking.
When you see the picture, I mean, I think it was around the time of Parade, or shortly after, like 87, maybe. You see the staff photo, and it's like I said, there's a strong amount of
he's
staff.
got a wardrobe department, turning out clothes for everybody. He's got, he's got people on the desk. He's got engineers. He's got, people working all the road gear and all the rest of it, and it's.
And he said, I have to keep money in the pocket of these people who are hanging around and working really hard, But then also, like I say, he did things which were art, which might not have made financial sense, because somebody said, "Oh well, having a studio 24/7 is an extremely expensive thing to do, and you wouldn't normally do that." But he wants to know, if it's 2 a.m., I'm going to record.
I want a camel at 2 o'clock in the morning, please.
I want a windmill, which he had, didn't he? He had a windmill. But There you
go. That's your problem. They go, where am I going to get a camel from? Well, that's your problem. Yeah.
I think he did that with Alphabet Street. He's like, it's really bad weather or whatever. How do we get a camera crew? And he's like, it's not my problem. I just get one.
Just get one.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
I think, and like I say, the clothes, it was all part of a seamless image. Like they said, he wasn't off duty being Prince.
No, exactly. I think they say that in that omnibus interview, that you never see Prince not being Prince.
No,
always,
always,
always. And I think as well, you forget as well, in the early days of Paisley Park, it wasn't just him; he was renting it out, so a lot of people recorded there, so it was making money. So,
and there was a few films, wasn't there?
And a few films, and adverts and stuff was shot there on the sound stages and video. I think a Bee Gees filmed a few videos there. I think of their songs. Obviously, Fine Young Cannibals did an album there. REM. I think there were a few. MC Hammer. There you go. Yeah. Nipping next door. Can I borrow Soft and Wet, please? And When Doves Cry.
No, I love that.
We got to pray that we make it. Oh, we're going off subject, but there you go.
I remember watching, I think it was the Brits or something, and they played When Doves Cry, and it segued into Pray. Obviously, just seamless. Perfect. Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? Oh, dear.
He did Girl of My Dream. I think he did Girl of My Dream, did he? I don't know. He did, quite a few songs, but I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's TCL is, I don't know. Might be TCL.
Yeah, it might be. I think MC Hammer, he copied from he probably got permission, but he borrowed from a lot of them. He did, Rick James, for You Can't Touch This.
Oh, yeah,
and obviously Pray, Soft and Wet. I think there was a Marvin Gaye song, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's incredible, really. Like I say, and also gave the freedom to.
Have you seen her? The Shy Lights. Every song borrowed from a classic. Yeah,
which is why you hear it and you instantly think, you sort of connect with it. You have that. Yeah. But I think that's also that's what gave him the freedom to work with other artists, isn't it? Because he can invite someone and say, right, Sheena Easton's dropped by, let's record this, or I can get any artist and they'll come there, record, and he can work with them. And I think that gave him that freedom. And I think it's incredible. And I think how do you feel Parade has? Do you think what is interesting when you said about Bond and how the perception? How do you think of Parade? Do you think its reputation has grown a lot since the 40 years, or do you think it's stayed the same, or do you think it's become more appreciated? Do you think?
Probably more appreciated. It's difficult because you don't hear much outside the community. Because Prince isn't. It's so difficult. Songs that are only played on the radio are the same ones. There's not a lot, there's not a lot said. You don't hear a lot on TV or anything about what other people may feel about it. You only hear from in the community, from our friends, fans. And I think obviously once he passed, tracks like Sometimes It Snows in April, obviously, Venus de Milo, probably has grown more in people's hearts, probably, maybe, since then. I think
the internet has helped, isn't it? Because obviously we know all the extra outtakes, we know all the things that didn't make.
Let's say, for instance, what happened recently with Stranger Things and Purple Rain. So if that happened with Under the Cherry Moon, or in a parade, then would have more of an idea of what people may think about it. But it would be interesting, but it's kind of a timeless piece, like a lot of his albums. There's not many of them. Maybe some of the early ones, maybe the first two, where you can definitely say that's late 70s disco or whatever. But something like Around the World in a Day, Parade, that could just be from anywhere. It could be from another universe. It's just timeless. It's just wow.
It just sounds fresh. I think I put on Controversy the other day. Controversy just sounds fresh.
Yeah.
It sounds fresh.
Yeah, so many of them, you can't nail it down to a time period or go, well, that's definitely 80s, but that is just, it could be any period, any time. It's just, It's a it
is a work. I think it is, like I say, an artistic statement. It's not something that is chasing hits per se. Don't get me wrong, Kiss helped, but it's not. It wasn't written to chase hits.
No, again, it's almost a song that he was never that keen on,
comfortable with.
And it was never happy with its arrangement. We know the famous story of giving him to Maserati, and then look what they did. Well, I'm having that back.
Like you say, when he performed it live, he changed it about. He
changed it all the time. It was like, he was never comfortable with it.
Even later on, he'd be like, you don't have to watch Desperate Housewives or Big Brother or whatever.
That's right.
It's
because obviously that does date it.
I
suppose that is the only bit on the album that would date it to the 80s.
I love the second half of that song. I just think that the horns brilliant, absolute chaos. Just I think I think that's true.
But I think it stood the test of time. I think it will stand all of time. It needs more exposure, definitely.
That's what I said.
Come on, a stage 40th anniversary. It's just going to go
on Netflix.
It's just going to go what?
But even then, it annoys me because even the parade one we see, the one we're sort of all familiar with, is an edited version of the actual concert. It's not got all.
Yes, that's right. It's only like 40 minutes or something, isn't it? Or, where's the whole show? Come on.
It just seems such a no-brainer to get stuff on net. What annoyed me is you have the thing about Stranger Things. I can't think of any other people on the planet who wouldn't go, oh, this is good. Let's capitalize on this. They go, oh, this is good, and then go back to sleep. Sorry, we woke you, sir. Sorry, we woke you up. I was like, anybody else would go, let's get this out here. Here's a deluxe package. Here's a superstar. Netflix, bang. We're going to put concert after concert. People get in. It's a gateway. I heard Stranger Things. I'm going to watch the concert. Now I'm into Prince. What do I buy? Whereas they were like, oh, umbrella. You want umbrella?
Yeah.
Umbrella. You want some socks? No, it's like, oh, Jesus.
No, okay.
I honestly think they just holding on to it, and but
we got these.
Capitalize. Was that a bit? I think was it? I can't remember if it was Jerome or Morris on the Raven to the Joy Fantastic, where he goes, "I knew Prince before all these things.
Oh no,
candles with his name on it.
His name on it everywhere. Yeah. Well, he was just the same as he is now. It's so good. But it's so true. They just let it go. They put a few little shorts out, don't they? On YouTube, whatever, or a little few things. Just like a record going round, trying and that's it. And you go, is that it? That's your response?
The live concerts we said just. Many are ready to go.
Yeah. So, but Parade. The anniversary is the end of this month. It came out at the end of March. So so obviously nothing's going to be done because we're in the middle of March. We've heard it months in advance. So there's no super deluxe. There's nothing going to actually be out at the time it's its anniversary. Whether they'll probably put some little meaty little post out around that time. Oh, Parade came out 40 years ago. Then back to bed, as you say.
I honestly think if you asked Prince fans and said which album would you most want to super deluxe, Parade would be right up there, wouldn't it? Surely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I
Definitely.
mean, it's got the kind of most extra content, really, in lots of ways. I mean, you think of Sign of the Times or T, but certainly Parade has as well. And
yes. And I know we had the disappointment for some people, around the world in a day, the sort of meager serving, shall we call it?
Please, sir, I want some more.
Please, sir, exactly. Can I have some seconds?
No.
So is that what they're going to do with Parade? Maybe it'll be later on in the year.
Do you think there's a chance they would just get like a deluxe rather than a super deluxe, basically?
Yeah, with the singles, the 12 inches, maybe the B-sides, remaster the album. That'll be it. Yeah, they might maybe they'll throw in the Under the Cherry Moon DVD or something, maybe. But but why can't we have Under the Cherry Moon? Why can't we have it on Blu-ray? Why can't we have the trailer for the film? Why can't we have any outtakes that exist? Why can't we have retrospective interviews? Why can't we have the whole MTV premiere on there as well? Just to have it, he performed there. Is that performance recorded? What he did that night, or that he did?
I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, we've seen the outtakes. We've seen the opening bit.
Yes, the whole opening bit.
I mean, there must be others, I presume.
Exactly. That's the only most famous bit in it. Because that's a whole alternate cut of the film. Was it just the start?
Yeah, it's a whole different start. Whole different start,
isn't it? Yeah,
opening start. Yeah, it's I don't know what I
all him driving around the mountain and stuff, isn't he? And
I've never understood, because to me, I know there's various complications, but to me, it's actually quite simple. Prince created the music quicker than these guys can release it when it's already made. It's like the music's made, the videos are made, the concerts are filmed. You have got to basically just put it out there. The guy wrote the music, recorded the music, toured the music, and got the music done quicker than you guys can put it out. You should never. I understand, like say, if this was an artist who only had one extra album, fine, you want to tease, you want to get some, but it's not. Yeah. And the rate they're going is ridiculous. That
and when Kurt Loder, I think Kurt Loder interviewed him in the rave era, wasn't it, at Paisley Park, and he asked him about all the stuff in the vault, didn't he? What he'd find in there, and he said, "What's going to happen with all this stuff?" And Prince said, "I'll give it away." And he said, "I'm not going." I'm sad now because he said, "I'm not going to, but I'll be here." He said, but he said he would give it away. He wanted everyone to have it and to hear it. So he said it then. Get it out.
And do you know what? I know some of it will be of interest to the kind of fans rather than, but you know what? It's the fans that they'll buy the majority of the music. Also, you can do that. You can do both. I hate this kind of idea that you can't do, but yes, you can do things as Stranger Things that bring you like millions of pounds. So basically say, yes, that's what you got to do. And that's great for publicity. Fantastic. Brilliant. But you can also do things for fans. It's not an exclusive thing. And ultimately, like I say, we've said this a lot of time, haven't we? We don't mean it in a bad way, but the average Prince fan is probably they're probably Generation X on average. They're probably 50s. So what are you waiting for? What are they waiting for?
Because we ain't gonna be around for forever.
I mean, I don't know what I don't know what the argument against holding in.
The world's drying up every year. It's like
and I say some of it. Montreux, the Chaos and Disorder, the kind of Shepherd's Bursting. There's so many concerts that are professionally filmed. We know that, and he filmed Piano and Microphone being a classic example. I don't know what the rate they need to go. They need to rocket up, as they say in Britain. Like, you need to really move. Yes. I don't mean a literal rocket. I mean just like a figurative rocket. Just the pace has to pick up. Like hugely has to pick up. It really does.
It's non-existent. Really, it really is.
I mean,
there's endless, but there's endless t-shirts and merch, and bed sheets.
Oh, well, that's good, because I was worried about if I'd run out of duvet covers. I was getting a bit concerned. Apparently, you're saying that's fine. That's all I get. Every time I get an email from the Prince Estate, I think, it goes 13% off this or 14% off this for Valentine's Day. Do you want like another? You want some sort of trainers or something? And it's like every time I get excited, then like, oh. But yeah.
Oh dear. I know. So maybe we'll get Parade bed sheets then. Who knows?
Well, a Christopher Tracy hat maybe. What else did you get? That jacket you wore. That's pretty cool. No, one of those those ones they sell for about like 10 grand.
Don't. That would be mega expensive. Yeah, the leather jacket. It's got a heart on the back. I can't remember if it did.
It's got
studs on it. The leather jacket he wears in like Yeah,
I
very
still
good.
remember that bit on the tour when he's like, "I don't care what anyone says. I have baddest band in the universe."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Incredible, isn't it? Incredible. So there we go. 40
yeah,
years parade.
yeah.
Wow, just incredible. What else can we do? Sum up parade. So, you got any final thoughts?
I think it's one of his most interesting works. I think it's been, I would say, the album I've had the biggest journey on. I think Parade. I think that and
Mm,
Planet Earth
mm,
really grows my experience. But I'd say it's been the one that's really transformed me, because so many people would talk so highly of it, and for ages I couldn't fully get into it, and it's grown and grown, and every time I hear it, I've been listening to it
mm,
more and more recently, and just that kind of boom of new position. It's so different, it's so funky and fresh, and just
mm.
the more I go on, the more I appreciate it. And I think
Yeah.
it would do it justice to have because the thing is, you bring out a super deluxe, people talk about the album more, and it brings it kind of more into kind of focus, and you get news articles. So I would say it's certainly grown on me a lot more. I think it's quite a mature album, actually. I think it's especially for I just I think I would say it's
Mm.
growing on me. And if I said to you how I'm going to feel in 5 years' time, it's one of those albums I think I'm going to like even more in 5 years' time. It's kind of strange,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I would say it's been interesting for me, because it's just really, 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 really grown. And
Mm.
who knows? I mean, God, who knows? Maybe in 5 years' time, I'll only care about 2010. That's the only album I care about.
We know somebody who adores that album, don't we? Oh dear.
So I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? But that's the joy about Prince for me. Is not only has he got
Yeah.
something for everybody, not only has he got albums that some people like more than others, but it also changes. And you hear a song you haven't heard, like I heard "Better with Time,"
Yeah.
ironically about Christian Scott Thomas. So it
Yes.
ties in.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
And a beautiful song. And it
Mm.
just sometimes there's a moment where you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'm ready for Parade, especially this year. As the Prince party is Parade themed, so I'm ready for this
Yeah.
in the
We're
UK.
ready for it. We are ready for it.
We
Yeah.
are ready to old man dance until about 1 a.m.
I think that's what we've got to do as a community. We're the ones, as we said before, we are the estate. We got to promote the 40th anniversary. We've got to push it. We've got to get it out there, let people remember it, understand it, and and appreciate this incredible work of art. Because it's unlike any other album. So that he did. Well, we say that a lot, but it really is. It's just it really is. And I think
I don't know how. Go on.
No. God, I was just going to say, if I had to close proceedings, I think I would just have to say, if you wanted to buy a Sam Cooke album, where would you go?
Well, Record Store, it means nothing. It means nothing.
What? Louder.
I love the bit when he's like, she has a go at him, and he's like, and he's like, I go to dinner without my father's permission. So that's just what.
Yeah.
I think she was. I think Christian was brilliant in that as well. I think she just played that so well. I just think
so good. Yeah, so
she was just absolutely on it.
Yeah,
And I mean, I think,
what other film are you going to watch where the word Ninian is used? I mean, come on, typical British. It's nothing, you Ninian, you knew it.
it's just so kind of
Oh dear, absolutely fantastic.
To be fair, there aren't many films where the word cabbage head is used very often.
So, that is true. Cabbage head. Yeah. Go out, everyone. If you've not seen it, of course you've seen it, or if you're watching this, but watch it again. If you have not seen it, try and track it.
Do you think there's any chance they'll put it on, like in a limited, like a few cinemas, just a little, like Sign of the Times? We had that. Do you reckon?
Why can't they?
They won't.
No, wouldn't it be great if later in the year they say, 40th anniversary, let's put it back out in the cinema? That would be fantastic. That really would,
I think we're expecting way too much. We shouldn't disappoint ourselves. We're just going to be disappointed. I tell you what we do. We'll lower our expectations to some Parade socks, and then anything more than that, I'll be happy.
Yeah. One will be black, one will be white. Wow, amazing. Then I'll be happy. Can't wait for it. My Parade socks, my Parade bedsheet, and my Record Store handkerchief.
They have said at the Prince party later this year to in the UK to wear something sort of parade related. So I'm hoping they get the merch out ready. So I'll be able to buy all that and just in time.
Exactly. Well, it's September. It's going to be, remember, so it might be a bit chilly. So
I might need a parade coat or something.
Parade coat. We can parade around London. I
would like one of those long kind of that long kind of silky kind of coat he had. I think
like the pajama things they're wearing.
They're so cool. Yeah, that is so cool.
Very nice.
I'd love to. I know people obviously it's meant to be black and white, and he filmed, but I think the thing that I love about that I would love to see is when I see the pictures of it, and you see the vibrant colours he had as well, and just amazing. But I understand why he did what he did, but
yeah, there is a colour version of it going around, isn't there? I think.
I don't know whether that's done with technology, but the way they do it. But it'd be interesting. They must have stuff in the vault that we probably don't know about.
Of course they do.
Do you reckon they've been in there? Do you reckon they've actually gone in there?
With have a vault.
Do you reckon they've actually bothered? They go, the vault. I forgot about the vault.
Remember this room? We were meant to do something with this, weren't we?
Hold on. Let me look at my phone. I set a reminder. What was I? More socks. I forgot to tell you.
Yeah. Oh, so it's time to go back to bed. Yeah, don't worry about it.
We should see what they announce at the celebration. Let's hope it's hopefully it'll blow our socks off.
Yeah. Well, our parade socks off. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for watching. It's just amazing 40th anniversary. Enjoy celebrating parade. It's 40th anniversary. We'll be back again probably with a live stream around the 10th. Unfortunately, 10th anniversary in April. Around that time.
Isn't that long now, is it really?
Isn't that about a month away? So we'll probably come back with a live stream around that period. And we'll be back with a review soon as well. She Reads album. We're working on that as well. The Romance 1600, I think. Yeah. That will be coming up soon as well. So
you're saying get to work. That's what you're saying.
Get to work. Yeah, come on. I've done one track already.
Whoa. Prince wrote these tracks quicker than we can review them, didn't he?
One down, 4 free to go. We've only got to do 4 each, honestly. Dear. I don't know. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody, and keep it purple.